Hi, my name's Stephen Bones, and I'm here to explain what the 5 personality patterns are that we all work with, or what our survival patterns are. And if you're feeling overwhelmed or distressed, or just feelings that you're not quite sure what's going on, possibly just struggle to function during the day, you'll probably find that this series of videos may help you come to an understanding. And once we come to an understanding, what I want to stress is when we're aware, our awareness is available to us, what's creating these feelings and what creates us to function in this way, we can start with a healing. So the 5 personality patterns that we're talking about are leaving, merging, enduring, aggressive and rigid. And these videos that I put out each week will cover various points, but what I want to really sort of get involved with at the minute is how the first formed. And they formed in the womb to about 6 months old, when we put various survival strategies in. And what that means is that in everyday situations, if the child in the womb has got a mother that's grounded and loving and creates safety, then the child will go on to create various other patterns once the child's born and moves through. But if they haven't got that, for instance, their environment's threatened, there's distress, overwhelm, the mother may not want the child, there may not be any love, there might be violence within the household. There's various different things that can create distress and overwhelm to that child in the womb. So the child feels threatened. So what they deploy in various degrees of intensity, subject to what the trauma is, they deploy a survival strategy, and that survival strategy then ends up being a personality pattern, which we'll go into further. And these environments and strategies can alter depending on what the child feels or how they react to those type of disturbances, which we'll talk about a bit later on. But bear in mind that there is a huge variation, because what one child finds distressful, another child won't find distressful. So whatever causes the wounding when it's in the womb can vary from child to child. So what happens is when these are only what I've learned, by the way, so you take it whichever way you want to, but we come from somewhere, and if we take it the fact that spirit comes into this physical plane, and it comes from wherever it comes from, and it's a timeless, boundless, very aware energy, and it comes into this world to connect with the physical body. So when newborn is in the womb, at some point the spirit, some say after 3 months, but some say it can be longer, but the teachings are somewhere there is a meld. And when there's a meld, and it's a loving, safe, grounded mother that's going through a normal pregnancy, then the child grounds with the mother and melds into the system, coalescing with everything that's going on. However, the leaving pattern is an interesting pattern, and that's the one I'm starting with, you see, because what happens is if the child is in those stressful situations, or the mother's in those stressful situations, that like violence, or the mother's frightened, doesn't love the child for whatever reason is, that causes distress. So when the spirit at that time is trying to root and ground itself with a reference point in the body, it struggles, it hasn't got one, so it goes back to where it's come from and then comes back in. So its awareness is completely fragmented, and that fragmentation causes the survival strategy to begin, and that's because the spirit can't feel grounded or a reference point within the baby's body. So when it comes in, and you see, because when it's grounded in under what we deem as you would perhaps label, because we humans like to label things as a normal loving situation, then we create an energetic boundary around us to keep other energetic forces out. So that's its function when it comes in. Well, of course, with the leaving pattern, with that kind of trauma and stress, that won't happen, and the mother may struggle to be even more grounded. So the formation of the leaving pattern starts to occur. And so when something happens and the spirit is shocked and repeatedly fragmented as this goes on, the spirit's awareness struggles to sort of ground itself, and the leaving pattern then begins to form. And when the leaving pattern forms, it moves away, comes back in, moves away, comes back in. That's why some people that feel very overwhelmed and can't cope under pressure, and when there's any energy that moves towards them, they just fall apart, or they're confronted, they fall apart, because they haven't got this route to get back to. But can I stress at this point that if that is you and you're feeling that way, it can be healed. And as I go through these videos, I'll explain how that happens. But if you want to go to my website, stephenbones.com, put your name and email address in the box. I will connect with you if you feel as though you need to talk about it further before that particular time. So when that happens, that's the survival strategy begins to form. And then as that time goes on, what will happen is the child will either bob in and out of that pattern as it grows and becomes an adult, or it will live from that place all of the time. So sometimes in certain situations we can fall apart because we're under pressure, but in other situations with a different type of pressure, we can more hold it together. Or we just feel we don't exist in this world. We feel as though that we're separate from it, and we're not quite sure why we're here. And that's all around the leaving pattern. And we will get on the next video, dive a bit deeper. But what I also want to explain before I just close off, that the gifts, there's always a gift with everything that we've created and everything we've got. But the gift with this particular survival strategy and pattern is that the person, as they become adults, are more likely to have a strong connection to spirit world, be very creative, very sensitive as well, and can offer healing from that point. And interestingly enough, possibly have some sort of psychic connection and aware of energetic phenomena. So but they still may have deep feelings of a right, whether they've got a right to exist on this physical plane, or even struggle to function on a day-to-day basis. So that's the start. I hope you've got something from that. Please don't forget to subscribe, ting the bell, and then every time I put one of these videos out, because we're going to go deeper into the leaving pattern next week, because these are coming out once a week. And then we'll go into the other 4 strategies and patterns after that. So thanks very much for listening. Do appreciate it. I hope this share helps you, and we'll speak next week. Bye for now.